Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Yeah, I got him singer, and I go, the girl come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day, now I'm addicted now. The girl come my way. Baby, no play. Just the other day, now I'm addicted. Oh no, and I go. I lip singer. Now star bees on the beat. I said, baby, I wanna love you daily. I wanna make your body crazy. I wanna drive your body type and lazy. And I said, I wanna love you. I give you everything. I give you what you need. Dance along everything. I wanna love you. I give you everything. I give you what you need. Dance along everything. You said you love me, you said you got me back. You said you own it, I gave you back to back, and in the morning we glorified. And after shook me, you testify. Hey, girl, you know that I love you so much. Is it a crime that women love too much? This is an excuse that this is too much. You walk away, forever away. And if you find another one, she gon' leave you for another, that another already as another final lover man. You keep pitching with karma. You play games like Makanaba Fan. I said, I wanna love you. I give you everything. I give you what you need. Dance along everything. I wanna love you. I give you everything. I give you what you need. Dance along everything. Woman, you nice and you classy. Your body gender, you so sassy. Hey, I give you approval. Just a paparazzi woman. Let me take you to Uganda. In a black panther, we believe it. But girl, you a killer. Natural something for the singer. Natural music gonna heal ya, baby. Mama wonders, now you see now. Love to cover, no medicine now. Now it's a win-win situation with you. Now if I lose, maybe you're me winner. Say that I wanna love you. I give you everything. I give you what you need. Dance along everything. I wanna love you. I give you everything. I give you what you need. Dance along everything. Tough time comes, tough time go. Want you to stay, but I don't have to say. Love you till you gray, mama, for that I pray. Hey, you got a body nasty, you love me with no mercy. You can be friendly, but tomorrow we can see your daddy. You got a body nasty, you love me with no mercy. You can be friendly, but tomorrow we can see your daddy. Run, tell your daddy. Somebody somewhere wanna be your daddy. Run, tell your family. Somebody somewhere wanna be your family.
Good afternoon, family. We're back again. Apologies, we have issues with lights today. We're gonna be able to push with the program without literally any trouble.
I give you everything.
This is Caleb Singer with 22 minutes past the top of the hour. Yes, Karibuni Sana, featuring myself and of course that amazing, amazing lady you see there as the vixen. Hope you guys are doing amazing. 23 minutes past the top of the hour. Welcome to another beautiful episode of the Pan African Bliss. It literally started, the lights went out, but they're back. I don't know what's happening today. They have been doing this since morning, but I hope we're gonna be able to push the day without having any of these problems. Today I have an amazing conversation aligned for you. We shall be talking about some history of literally the trade mill, where it came from, something that I learned during this weekend. I didn't know where the trade mill came from. Shall be talking about the, of course, still the amazing transition that Burkina Faso or the Alliance Sahel state is literally doing. We shall be talking about what is happening also in other countries like South Sudan, which is our main conversation, where South Sudan is projected to actually have the fastest growing economy in Africa. And the question of the day is that, is this possible? Because we know that there is so much war, division, ethnical, division that is actually being caused by the politicians, the government, and of course the European nation, the Western nation, which are very much involved because of the resources in the country. Is it really possible that South Sudan can literally become the fastest growing economical country? Why not Burkina Faso? Why South Sudan? That is also a question that I also have, because we know right now the only country that is actually doing amazing in producing, processing, manufacturing its own things, it's Burkina Faso right now. Shall be talking also about where actually during the weekend dozens of people lost their lives in DRC Congo, talking about resources and looking at the weather. I don't know, it's super crazy to see that this kind of flood has killed so many people. It's actually doesn't look like a natural calamity, as according to me, as much as we know in most African countries we lack proper water irrigation. This is just so crazy. I was seeing videos that were going viral of people trying to be saved by their fellow brothers and sisters, and it is really devastating. But along that, as we talk about our resources, we shall talk about where our ancestors actually was smelting iron, and this is before the white men actually came to Africa. So this actually tells us where we still have the possibility, if we really have the proper knowledge of processing our own mineral resources. We just need proper information. We shall also talk about also Burkina Faso, still part of the Alliance Sahel state, which is actually talking about where we have no development under democracy. No country has ever developed under democracy, and I love to see him telling people the facts and the reality of what it is. But Karibuni Sana, that's our top conversation for the day. As we continue, we shall also be discussing about the radioactive rhinos, and which has actually where they're trying to figure out how they're going to stop poaching. But the process they're using, personally, I don't like it. I don't support it. I feel like poaching has been very active, and of course, we know white people, they're the ones who literally, I don't know, white people literally started all this since they came to Africa, invading Africa. We've been talking about this, I think, for the last few weeks, where we've seen, of course, animals. We had animals all over. If you talk about elephants, lions, the rhinos, and all that. But since white people came here and because they wanted to claim lands, they went ahead killing majority of these animals to the point where actually they're very little in Africa. And the procedure they're trying to use actually to stop poaching, personally, I do not support it. I feel like this is them trying to steal, they're trying to still get keep, trying to still, favor themselves, basically trying to favor themselves, trying to keep everything to steal themselves, where Africans will never ever be able to understand what is really happening. They think they are really helping to stop poaching, but for me this is not helping. But karibuni sana. As we get started, I'm going to start with an amazing conversation coming from South Africa. There's an history or something that happened back in 2016, and I generalize it because it's something, if I look at also my my research over the years, I've seen this issue pop a couple of times, where so many African young women, to be specific, students, they get really they get so much hate from the white people when it comes to our hair. I think it takes me back 2 weeks ago. I was talking about and sharing a video of these white women who are actually explaining to us why they hate our hair, how they envy our hair. But if you come back in Africa, it's not what actually the white people try to tell us. They have projected, they have ensured we have self-hate, which we project upon ourselves. We're gonna dislike our hair. People want to bleach, people want to put on colors and all that. But at the end of the day, we need to understand how beautiful our African hair is. So I'm going to start with that particular story. Her name is Zulaka, that is her name, Zulaka Patel. And in 2016, she went viral for literally, and she's now an active full-time activist from South Africa who went ahead and stood up also for the rest of our classmates and the whole school who are being discriminalized when it comes to their hair and speaking also their local languages. But as we get started, I see Keith has joined us. Karibu sana, Keith.
Asante sana, Joby.
How
How
you
are you
doing?
today?
I'm great. I can't complain. Better than yesterday. Had a rough night, but I'm better than yesterday.
Had a rough night, huh?
Yeah,
Uh,
we
you,
we had a rough
you,
night.
you was dreaming you was back in Quebec.
I really wish, man, it was worse than that. My stomach really hurts because of the cough. My chest is painful, my throat. But it is what it is. I'm still taking
Uh,
the natural remedies to help me gain
all
back my
right.
and come back to normal. But rest, let me start with this amazing video right here. Like I said, her name is Zulaka, and she led the protest against a ban of afro hair on black girls in her school in South Africa, and she won. But she didn't really win because looking at the video I'm about to share, she says just one paper or some few things were changed. But if you look at the discriminalization, especially in South Africa, where majority of the people are black people, the minority are white people, but still, all so much power. It's crazy. She speaks also about the
That
schools.
means
Mhm.
that means the Africans are pathetic. You're the majority. A lot of small minority come in and rule you. A small majority come in and control how you think. A small minority, small, not even big, small minority controls your mind, controls how you feel about yourself. That means you are pathetic. That's what it means, sadly. How's a small minority control how you feel? You're the majority because you're African. Control how you feel about your hair and how you allow them to determine what you can do and do not with your hair. I understand we are the minority in America, and we'll never go for that. We're the minority. They're the majority. There's no way and a black American be the overwhelming majority anywhere. And some white people tell us what we can and cannot do. It just will never happen. So
Mhm.
South Africans, once again, are pathetic. This is what this
Mhm.
means. I don't care. You take it or you don't. I don't care if you don't like it. The facts are facts on the ground. In the South Africa, I've seen it, and it just blows my mind. Go ahead,
Well,
Joby.
I'll say it's mindset. I'll go back to the mindset. Something I've learned, especially during this weekend. Of course, we've been talking about it, mindset. But when I landed in Kibera again, just made me again see the bigger perspective when you talk about mindset of the people and how effective it can be. So if we go back to history, and then I think when I was talking about also the shaving of the hair, we'll be talking about this, which is most commonly in some of the schools, especially in rural areas. We still have this very active where children it's mandatory, girls it's mandatory for you to shave your hair.
I know it's in Africa. You,
Okay.
the correlation you got right there was just even when those guys told them that Jesus was black and the craziness. That's why you shaved your hair because black people, white people, when bathed, you told that your hair was bad. You're the only people that have actual hair. Everybody else has a form of fur. I hate to say this because I'm not gonna, and it has anything to do with me being racist. These are facts. Only people that actually have hair are African people. All
Mm-hmm.
other people have forms of fur.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, your hair is nine ether. You know anything about ether? That's why, like Joby said, your education is so important. The
Yeah.
African race as a norm, I'm talking globally, African people as a norm have been miseducated and most are morons.
Yeah,
Keep it
I'll
honest.
say we'll
Go ahead,
blame
Joby.
the system of education because I don't know if these pathetic leaders we have, if they have any of this knowledge that we're not supposed to be following none of these rules. They are all colonial setup rules.
Exactly. You're supposed to got rid of them. You're supposed to be got rid of, especially something that tells you hate yourself. Shave off your hair. Hate you. Shout out to even to Ray, sir. When he got, he said there will be no more shaving off your hair. And see, this is colonial. This is the hate that they put all throughout Africa. This was the program. So they didn't just put it in Kenya. They put it all throughout Africa. So what the inventory said, no more. You grow your African hair. You
Mm-hmm.
grow it. So 60
Mm-hmm.
years after independence, you just now been told to love your hair and grow your hair out. No one's getting bald headed around here and all this other colonial shit because they hate your hair. Excuse my language. I gotta stop 'cause I haven't been cussing. Uh, shout out to you, YouTube, because I don't be cussing no more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all this colonial nonsense. You're supposed to got rid of that from day one when
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to got independence to get
True.
back your confidence, to get back your pride in being African. But you haven't. That's why all this internal hatred is still going on. Go ahead, Joe.
True. Personally, I remember as I get to share the first video of when it happened. This is 8 years ago. We're talking about 2016, literally, when this took place. Personally, I remember when I was forced to shave my hair because after my mom and dad divorced, and then I had to be taken to the village because I was born in Nairobi. Of course, naturally, if you're a Nairobi person or if you're born in the city, it is okay for the schools for you to have there. It's okay. Like it's okay. Depends maybe with the kind of parents you have because we still have actually some parents who actually force their children also to shave hair because of their cultures, traditions. I don't know where it comes from, but some just myths and stereotypes that don't really add up. So for
It's
me, it's
not.
really
It's not the culture. Not. It's also that's not the culture. That's
it's into
imposed.
stereotypes.
That's
That's like
imposed.
stereotypes.
That's
Yes.
imposed. That's imposed colonialism. They made
Mm-hmm.
Africans people shave their hair because they said your hair was ugly and it made them angry
I see.
because their hair was. So that's why you
Really.
see every. It's not just. Can you see that in every African school, the girls and boys have shaved heads. But in
Mm-hmm.
Ghana, Nigeria, Namibia, Angola, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, it's the same
Mm-hmm.
because of the hatred they have for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're supposed to get rid of that. You're supposed to get into you first thing you should do when you got independent, you're supposed to take back your mind,
Yeah.
your African mind. You never did that. No African country did it. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
white members, hey, you better not change nothing. Okay, we'll say you're free. You can pretend, but you bet not change nothing. And so nothing was ever changed. So this
Mm-hmm.
eternal self hatred still exists. That's
For
why
me,
Joby showed that thing with these morons screaming, "Hey man, even if the God that they worship was their color, they couldn't deal with it." Your mind, go ahead, Joby. Your
For
mind is
me,
gone.
it affected me so much when I was in class eight, so maybe grade eight, however you'd love to call it. I don't know, you know how you guys call it. But when I was in class eight, for us who were forced to shave our hair, I was really in a very fucked up school, like primary school. That is after I met
How
my
how old were you? Class A, 'cause we don't call it.
uh,
How, how
13.
to
I was
13?
13. Yeah,
Okay,
I was
okay, 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 okay. That's about the same. Okay, I might be like 13 is like is 13 ninth grade. And for us, that ninth is 13 ninth grade. Is it I think 13th is ninth grade, right? Let me see. 11th to 6th, 12. You're 12 when you're 7th. Okay, it may be class 8. It may be 8th grade for us. 13 may
yeah.
be 8th grade. Okay, go ahead.
So they forced us to shave our hair. I really had like a really long hair. That was after my mom had messed the other one. So I
Yeah.
shaved. It
After she
without
did you in.
yeah, it grew without the chemicals and everything. So it was really natural and long. But I was forced to shave it because, again, beliefs. They were like, you need to focus on your education. No time for hair. You don't need to go playing with your hair. You need to focus on studies. At the end of the day,
Yeah. What's your
I
hair
still
got to do with this? What's your hair got to do with the studies?
exactly, it didn't make sense to me. It really hurt me so bad, and I was like, I was trying to beg my dad to change me from that school, but it didn't. But it is what it is. Personally, I've
Hmm.
realized my hair grows super because right now my hair is really long. Even the salonists were like shocked, like, why is your hair growing super fast? My hair grows super super fast. But this is the history of this amazing lady and the students who are affected, and now she's a full time activist today. So this when it took place.
A South African school was on Tuesday ordered to suspend alleged racist regulations after black pupils said they had been called
It's not alleged; it is racism.
monkeys
Yeah,
by teachers for
exactly.
wearing
Mhm.
band afros.
See, exactly. Yo,
Local
yeah.
education.
So this is your code. This is who you are. And so same thing they did with us here. Said we couldn't wear our afros and you couldn't go to work wearing your African hair. You had to make it white. You had to like
Straight.
Joby's mom. You had to straighten it. You had to fry it and dye it and lay it to the side, as we call it here, or you wouldn't get hired or you would racist. But you being your own African self, an Afro, because that's your culture, that's who you are. So you've been told to deny what God has made us. You understand this from these wicked people? You've been told to deny what the Creator has made us. This is us in our natural state.
Mm-hmm.
You've been told what the Creator created us, and we're the first. And understand, we're the original. We're the first people. Period. So the Creator don't make no mistakes. So we are the original. You're telling me that the original is bad. That means that's how indoctrinated with nonsense we become, and that's the jealousy they have, because no
Mm-hmm.
one can grow hair like us. No one.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Everybody else has a form of fur.
Mm-hmm.
But
Authorities in Gauteng province gave Pretoria High School for Girls 21 days to reassess its rules after protests by students triggered a public dispute over alleged racism.
and the funny,
Speaking on
same
the
thing here, same thing everywhere with black people in our hair, and it's dealing with white people every time,
Mm-hmm.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
But
morning call, Gauteng's Department of Basic Education spokesperson Opabodibe said the protests were not just about hair.
just for being herself,
The girls
just for being black.
concerned in general that they've been ill-treated, that the school does not accommodate how they look, and want the school
The school does not school does not accommodate me being African in Africa. The
Mm-hmm.
school does not accommodate me being African in Africa.
Yep.
You know how insane this is. But if you're in Europe, they don't got to change their hair because they're European, so their hair be accepted in their. That's why you got to get rid of these people, and you got to get your mind right. I'm an African, and Africa does not. This African school does not accommodate my African identity. You know how backward and crazy this sounds. And in 2025, you're still dealing with this incipient racism from these people.
Exactly. The
What
same
is
thing
it?
is very active. The same thing is very active in schools, in sports,
Yeah.
in
But we
at
did
work.
shows. We did shows. Remember, we did that show about the young boy in America, black boy in America, where his natural hair, and then he was sent home and told me he better change his hair. No,
Yeah.
he better make his hair more presentable for white people.
What? Like crazy.
although the issue presents as matters of hair or hairstyle, it's really about racial discrimination, victimization, and abuse. So they've been listing a lot of cases where they've either been victimized or abused by teachers or other white learners.
The
Of course.
Department of Education
But
has been
but
meeting with
but the
parents.
white people but the white people too, they're being genocided in South Africa. How are you being genocided and you're still controlling people's hair? How you see your lies don't even coincide with the reality on the ground. If I'm committing genocide, and if the black people are supposedly killing you, how do you got the right to tell them what hairstyle they supposed to have? Since they
Exactly.
supposedly got power.
They should be
Genocide means you got power.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You have majority of the power. You know, you're the ones actually, genociding South Africans. Africans, I'd say globally, not just South Africa, not just anywhere, like globally. You are literally against us in everything we do, but
Yeah,
yet you
yeah.
wanna play
They know
victim.
exactly. They know this exactly. They always want to play the victim. Exactly. They are the ones always causing all the troubles on the planet, but they always want to play the victim. And they know they're the same people. That's why Trump said, "Oh, you white people, you can come to America and we'll let you be racist here." But hey, there's a different kind of Negro over here. You F around and find out over here.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, they know they don't got the tribal thing like the African. Oh, I'm this. No, they know they're the same white people. You find them in Australia, South
Mm-hmm.
Africa, America, Canada. They're the same people. They know that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Joe.
Students and school authorities to resolve the issue.
But as it is, NEC would also like the code of conduct to be reviewed, but also to make sure that the educators become very sensitive when they deal with learners on this matter. because the learners were also saying, for example, so what these things they are being called names like baboons.
So they are being called baboons, monkeys, literally. So if you go wearing your afro hair,
See?
you're being called a
How,
monkey.
how, how are we a baboon and baboons have your hair? How are we monkeys and monkeys have your hair? When have you seen a baboon with an afro? Never. When have you seen a monkey with an afro, Joby?
Nowhere,
Never.
nowhere.
They
I'm
have.
in Rongai. I'm in Rongai. I see monkeys literally. I have monkeys that keep on coming on my balcony every time looking for bananas.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't see
So do these monkeys, Joby, have afros? I want to
hell no,
know.
hell no. We have baboons literally when you're going to town. When you're going to town, this is a long Rongai road. We have baboons all over, literally all over. They're always just on the streets. I've never seen them having an afro. Yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But you know who they do have? They have the Europeans here.
This is the self.
Yeah.
This is the self-hate they have for themselves that they project on us. Literally, it's their own self-hate that they project.
It's not the self, it's the insecurity, Joe, that they
And
project, and that becomes the self hate that we project in our that they give us. It's the insecurity, it's the jealousy of who we are, Joe, as the original people. They're mad that they're not the original people because they want to be superior. That's in their mindset. They're mad that no matter what they do, the Africans were first. The Africans were the template of God. And that's
period,
just the fact.
period. But
Now, in September 2016, this Pretoria High School pupil stood up against racist policies at her school. The code of conduct at the school restricted afros in their rules for general appearance. She led
Restricted
a protest
afros.
at the
I
school.
thought you got I thought you
Members
got
of the
control of the country. How are you in a black country and you can't even wear your afro in an African country? This is crazy. Go
this is
ahead,
the
Joe.
BS that we've allowed again. This is the BS we've really allowed for over the years of just, again, not understanding who we really are, lack of history, and always just putting this white man here. And that's
Right.
why
That's
when he
true.
coughs, when he coughs, Africans will turn. Oh yeah, Jesus has arrived, the God, and you go try say you are Jesus, you as a black person. You've seen the repercussions. You've seen.
I know. You get stoned.
Don't dare that.
was handed over to authorities. 4 years later, and now in her matric year, we catch up with Zoleka. A very good morning to you, Zoleka Patel, and thank you for joining us on the catch up right here on Weekend Dawn. Now, Zoleka, there's been many changes, or few changes, like you said, since 2016 when you publicized the hair protest, if that's what you want to call it. What hasn't changed? What change are you still looking for at your school?
A very good morning to you too. Thank you so much for having me. First and foremost, what I would say is that it was never just about hair, like never. It was never just about hair. What we did in 2016 was we were highlighting how the black child in these
Good night.
elite prestigious schools has the doors of education and culture shut in their faces. And what we were
Exactly.
highlighting is the reality of institutionalized racism in these
Mhm.
schools. It wasn't about hair. We also fought against the fact that they restricted us from speaking African languages among
Languages. Yeah, you can't speak your African language. You got to speak their fake languages, right? So you got to speak their fake. You're in Africa, but they don't speak your African language.
Mhm.
of these
Audacity.
microaggressions thrown
Yep.
towards us. And so what
Of
we saw
course.
in 2016 was that when the MEC's office intervened, they ran an investigation, and a lot of what came out from that investigation was they mentioned that they didn't have the necessary proof to prove a lot of these incidents.
Of course, it's white people. Come on.
And I remember one of my incidents, which I did mention during the investigation, was when a teacher pencil tested me in her office. And they told me I didn't have the adequate evidence to prove that this incident happened. And I was like, a lot of these incidents happen intentionally in the corners without any witnesses. So if the bricks could talk, maybe then I'd have sufficient evidence, but there's nothing else that I can offer you. And so what we saw was that there
But
wasn't
but but
adequate.
but I want you to see the pattern. Everywhere they go, it's racism with these people.
Mhm.
Everywhere they go, it's racism. This is this is them naturally, guys. This is who they are. So when you're white people, not all of us is racist. Not every white person. You might got two or three that's not. The majority, this is who they are. As a group, as a collective, this is who they are. This is what they practice. This is what they've done all over the world. This is who they are.
Period.
Go ahead, Joe.
Could change. How the reaction we got from them was that they just wanted to clean up the mess that we had caused as fast as possible. And there wasn't, what I can say is that after that, there wasn't any transformation programs being run in the school, because it's not enough that you change one document, which still remains heavily triggering. The hair policy in its own still uses very triggering language in its own. Like one of the clauses states that if you know that your hair is going to obstruct any viewing, you should sit at the back. And that raises a question as to why should the black child be disadvantaged?
When does a baboon, a monkey have hair like that? When does a monkey and a baboon has hair like that? I've never seen it. I'm just asking.
As to where they sit in the class, because where you sit in the class determines how you will access what is being offered to you in the class. And so there's a lot that has not happened since 2016. What we saw was that the MEC's office, along with the school, just wanted to ensure how fast do they clean up the mess, and just change one document to ensure that we're satisfied, and going forward that we're silent. And there hasn't been change within the system itself, because as right now, as the school stands, we have 5 headmistresses, a body of 5 headmistresses who are all white and all Afrikaner and all Christian. Now, in a public school, that
the Oranias
raises questions as to where is the diversity and inclusion.
Exactly. Exactly. See, I love this young black lady because they're all Christian. That's not our religion. That's what she's saying on the down low. We're Africans. This Christianity crap was never our religions. So why they're all white, all Christians, and how's this diversity? None of our African religions are up, and our spirituality is not up in here. So why is it? How are we in a black country when everybody is white, supposedly teaching us their values? Where are the African values that we're supposed to learn that represents us in an African nation?
Exactly.
And see, they're always threatened about you being African. There's always this threat. That's why you see there's always a problem in America with our hair. Remember, black women had to keep their hair covered because it made white women jealous. Keep your hair covered. And all this other crazy. It's the same thing. It's this irrational jealousy and inferiority complex. See, when you're inferiority, you gotta project yourself as superior. So you wouldn't have to say you're superior if you really were. They know they are inherently inferior to us. So they got to project a superiority complex. So that's what happens with them. So every time they see you just moving in your natural way, it makes them feel a certain type of way. All their insecurities come out. And that's where the racism projects itself on you. You can't, what are you doing with your hair? What are you doing? They're telling you not even to sit in the space that the creator, that God made you in. Don't blame me. God made me like this. So you're telling me I'm supposed to reject what God made me to be? This is what these Europeans, this is the mind of these psychopaths. And when they got, and your power is coming to an end finally. Thank God, 500 years of terror with you people. 500 years of terror with you people. And your time is up. Thank God your time is up. And thank God. You know it. That's why you're going crazy. Your time of rule on the world, on the planet is up. It's coming to an end. But like I said, you better get your mind right, because things are going to happen. You justice is going to be done to you people anyway. But that's not here or there. Your inferiority complex is your problem, but you projected that as your superiority complex to put on black people and make us feel inferior. You know, just us standing in our nature offends you. How can someone standing in their nature be offensive to you? There's nothing wrong with the black people. Something wrong with you. You're psychopathic. Me standing in my African nature offends you, and it must be stopped. What God created me to look like this, to have my hair like this, which is nine ether, which stretches towards the sun like a plant, because I'm a natural being. Yours goes down. You know how yours goes down. It has no life in it. See, but the Africans ain't been taught none of that. And yeah, yours is this one that doesn't have no life. See, you see now, look at the back of this man's hair. The baboon has hair like that. The monkey has hair like that. Look at that. And when they shave a monkey, he's white just like them underneath. A baboon is white like this dude right here underneath. These are facts. Not any race, so these are facts. So how is the African a baboon when this dude has the actual baboon hair on his head right there? That's a fact.
Making make sense. But I love that confidence. It's the fact that you can see how young she was, and now when she's
Yes,
talking.
the youth are not taking any. The youth are like no more. My parents, my grandparents are taking on this racism from these people. No more. I won't.
Does the executive body not represent the demographics of this country? Why
It
should there
don't.
only be 7 black
It don't.
African teachers? And so it raises quite a lot. And I think going forth, now that there's previously
It's the you're the majority, overwhelming majority black country because you're in Africa, but the teachers are white. Like she said, they do not represent the demographics of the country. The country is majority black, so your teachers are supposed to be majority black and maybe one white teacher, maybe one. That's the demographics of the country. She's right. How do all these because white people get the jobs and the black people don't. That's why. Because they so good. But suppose they're getting genocide, but they're the ones teaching. I'm genociding them, but they still the teachers in all the schools. Make it make sense.
last week at the school itself, and learners are still demanding for the same change they demanded for in 2016. And a lot of other schools have come up in the media. More and more schools are starting to speak up, and it just shows that this was never just about hair, and it was never just a girl's high issue. It's a national crisis that the doors of education are being shut in the black child's face. Systemic racism runs
Exactly.
Rural and township schools.
Pause again, Joe. Remember, for education, they want to shut education off from black people. They want to turn the lights off. African people, when they gave education to the world, they wanted to turn the lights on with everybody to educate everyone. The European wants to turn the lights off, have you miseducated, have you dumbed down. Good.
From any and all conversation, and these prestigious elite schools, they show the black child so much violence. They expect you to leave such a huge chunk and portion of your identity at the gate and force you to assimilate into whiteness and Christianity. And so now I think we've come to a stage whereby we need to dig deeper into the root of what causes these problems as a country. The root of these issues is that it stems from our heavily racist recent history, which still continues to affect us. And so
you know where it comes from, girl. The white people. Let's call a spade a spade. They're racist. That's where it comes from. So black people were never racist against them. We don't know how to be. That's not our nature. Hell, you got people in Kenya screaming about how can it be even a black god? So so the systemic racism always comes from their violence, comes from them always, and you see it explode. That's why I tell you guys. That's why I say you shouldn't have division with African people nowhere, because you're treated the same by these people no matter where you at, no matter where you go. You're going to be treated as the same as an African. I don't know if this girl Zulu, house, what they got in South Africa. Zulu, Shona, Khoi, San, whatever other ethnic groups, whatever tribes. I don't know what tribe she is, but I know she's treated like an African. I know that.
Issues is that it stems from our heavily racist recent history, which still continues to affect us. And so we need to begin to heavily criticize how much has been done to eradicate the Bantu Education Act. And because it's not enough that you just erase the word and say the word is gone, yet the system remains.
Yeah.
And so, what we need to see personally now, that I would say, is the formation of a school's charter by the learners for the learners. A school's charter which would essentially be a tool that propels us in the right direction to restructure the schooling system as well as dismantle colonial culture and tradition.
Yeah,
Right now, Zoleka,
exactly.
tell me about your plans for the future. You're in matric right now. You're probably going to a different institution in the new year. What are you planning to study when you go to university or tertiary education next year?
I'm going to plan to study international relations along with political science.
Was this choice obviously in line with the fight that you are fighting for all the other students out there
Of
who are
course, it's
attending
politics.
what you'd call Model C schools?
This choice was in line with basically all that I'd experienced ever since my early childhood, and it just led me to saying that I want to see young people in governance. I want to see young people who are ready to dismantle colonial culture in our
Right,
society.
ready to take power back.
Enough that we just remove apartheid as a word, yet its systems remain privatized
Exactly.
into every aspect of our everyday lives. And so my decision was that I want to see young people in governance and young people who speak from a position of being biased to the majority of this country, which remains black and female and young as well,
Of
and
course,
speak from a
of
position of
course,
being rooted.
it's actually exactly. Females are always going to be the majority. Exactly, black and female.
Uh-huh.
Told you. She said I wanted to speak to that black.
Uh-huh.
Nonpartisan and are biased to all young black people in this country.
What legacy do you hope to leave at your school following your activism over the past few years?
Sorry, just come again.
What legacy do you hope to leave at your school? What change are you hoping to leave at your school following your activism over the past few years?
Well, I'm hoping to, within the current girls, I'm hoping to leave a legacy whereby they are
That they fight.
unapologetically,
Exactly.
fearlessly speak up
Yeah, fight. Exactly.
against
Unapologetically black
injustices.
and fight.
And within the school itself, I hope to leave a legacy whereby the black girl feels and knows that she is worthy and deserving of being in such an institution, and knows that she is welcome and she's seen and she's recognized.
What about the problems that the universities are currently having? I mean, they also experience similar issues and similar problems, including issues
Of
like
course, because the white
sexual
people
health.
control your universities, and you're in a black country. Make it make sense.
It was a big protest at the time. Are you ready to be championing a new fight when you go into university?
No, definitely, of course, of course. I mean, I carry decolonization as a part of my identity, and in any space and every space, I'm ready to tackle and propel for us to dismantle and have these conversations around dismantling colonial culture.
What would your message be to the basic education department as well as the higher education department as you are about to take this move from matric
White
and
people,
going
white people
into
in South Africa say
tertiary?
she's a terrorist. This black girl is a terrorist. She's talking terrorism by taking back blackness. She's a terrorist.
Firstly, my first statement to them would be: listen to young people, hear us out. We're not just unnecessarily making noise. You can't silence what we're saying, because these are real issues that we are subjected to. And hear us out, because we have the ideas. We know what change we want to see. We know what new policies we want to see. So when you sit and you say that you don't know what people are saying, or you don't exactly have the ideas, listen to those that have the ideas. And further, I would say, don't just treat
See,
black
what you see,
students and
guys,
black.
slowly is the waking up of Africa. So you're not going to be able to stop this. This is what's happening. This is the awakening of Africa. Her being unapologetically African is what she's doing. Did I tell you, you're not going to shame her for being African? You're not going to shame her for having her hair. You're not going to shame her for being black. Those days is over. This is what you see happening.
Mhm. Exactly. So that's an amazing story coming from Zuleka from South Africa, who led an amazing protest, of course, standing for the fellow also black students who have been facing, of course, that sort of discrimination, or the racism, and which is still very active today in 2025. But I love the confidence, and I hope also the rest of us can also be
I
taught.
thought you knew. I'm sorry, Jerry. Excuse me. I mean to interrupt. I apologize. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I thought you knew. I didn't mean to teach you that, gentlemen, skill that slavery happened in South Africa. I thought you knew. I thought all Africans knew that. See, the thing that the history of Africa. If I told you I'm on the continent, Africans didn't know history. Yeah, of course, South Africans were enslaved. Remember, it was during slavery that the Dutch entered South Africa. So of course the indigenous people there, they said there was no indigenous people there, right? But how they have slavery then if the Africans went on? See, this is how insane these white people. This is how crazy they said. Well, when we got to South Africa, there weren't no black people leaving here. Like what? It's Africa. What are you talking about? This is the lie to you. So who did you enslave if there were no black people there? Because we know you enslaved black people. Because remember, when they got there, the Dutch Empire, these are the Dutch, they were involved in the slave trade. So since they were colonizing, they decided to move there. Not when they were coming to the new world they called America, North America, South America over here. They decided to settle there because oh man, this African place is great. It's got food, we can farm, and they got these N-words that we can now enslave because that's the slave. It's during the European slave trade. So of course they were going to enslave the people there. Jim Mosquito. I thought that was just a well-known thing. I thought people knew that the South Africans were put in slavery in their own country. Not that they took them and shipped them out. They enslaved them there. They enslaved the South African there. That's why you got a video with Goopy Wodima I just seen recently. I'm gonna have Joby pull that up before we leave. He's walking. I'm in South Africa. This is one of the old slave houses. I didn't know there was slavery in South Africa, man. There's a lot of things you don't know, Goopy. Anyway, but yeah, so they had slavery in South Africa for 200 plus years until the English, remember, South Africa became an English colony, and so they abolished it when England got rid of supposedly slavery. But all they did was replace slavery with colonialism. It's the same thing under a different name. That's what the European does. Well, we got rid of slavery. No, you just rebrand. It's like we take a brand and you rebrand it because the name got too bad. They just rebrand it. Call it colonialism. Go ahead, Joby.
I remember, I think it was even 2 weeks ago, you made me pull the article which was giving us the years of how many years South Africa.
Yeah, you did it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys.
It was like it was like 200 years of slavery in South Africa, but it's never taught. So you're right, but that is true, General Mosquito. It's never taught about. It's never talked about. It's damn sure never taught. It's never talked about. See, I kind of just figured it out because I know no one ever told me, right? I just kind of like guessed it myself years ago. I said, well, if the Dutch came and there was slavery there had to be slavery in South Africa because they settled there. And they were part of the slave trade. So I'm sure, and this is just my normal deduction and reasoning, I said there had to be slavery in South Africa because that's who these people are. That's what they do.
See, the Cape Colony, which later became part of South Africa, was a slave society for 176 years from the establishment of the Dutch East India Company.
The Dutch, exactly.
Based in 1652 to the abolition of slavery in 1834.
See, 1834 is when the British got rid of slavery. So they were forced. It wasn't like the South Africans wanted to get rid of slavery. The British Empire said, no, we're not going to say slavery. We're going to start colonizing people. Right? We're not going to call it slavery no more. We're going to rebrand it. So exactly. So if I knew the Dutch, and I know even at the time that Joby said, I'm glad Joby pulled that up. I just knew instinctively that these are the Dutch. They were part of the slave trade. They decided to settle in that part of Africa with Africans. And then they got the nerve to say, now, when we got here, there were no Africans here. Then who the hell did you enslave? And Joe, we just read for 109, almost 200 years of slavery there. And there wasn't no Africans there when you got there. See, they know most people don't know that they had slavery in South Africa. See, so they're hoping that you don't know that. You don't know that because that history's never talked about. It's like John Skill said, he ain't been in England. He didn't know nothing about it. So they get to say, wow, so we got here. These Africans weren't even in South Africa. You're like, what? Let me go ahead, Joe.
It's crazy. But as we get to move on to the next conversation of the day, talking about the Halan Sahel state, I don't know if you saw they are looking forward to actually introduce their own currency. That is Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, which is an amazing move. So, of course, which is, of course, also looking at the way Burkina Faso has been doing so amazing in the production, manufacturing of their own things. This is actually a great move, and I believe this should be the next strongest currency in the next coming years because number one, it's not even backed by none of this. The IMF, the World Bank, and all that is backed by the resources coming from the country itself.
Exactly. They're going to be backed by the countries themselves. In that area, that's the richest place for gold in the world. So if they're going to back their currency by gold, now the currency is going to get real value, not the fake French franc that they've been using from France.
So we saw, of course, that was during the weekend. Burkina Faso banned second-hand clothes. Despite other countries, Kenya became the number one second-hand cloth importer. This surpassed Nigeria. Nigeria was the biggest country that exported second-hand clothes. Now Kenya is the first one. It has surpassed Nigeria, but we have Burkina Faso which banned this. Then we had Ibrahim Traore telling Africans that your countries are not developing because you have no democracy. You live under fake democracy, which is very true because we keep on talking about democracy, but we know the democracy we have literally is all the time brought by white people, but works according to them, how they want to rule the African continent. But on this other end, we have Niger, which dropped French as their official language. This comes after, of course, Burkina Faso did the same, and they switched to...
Exactly. They're going back to their African languages. So there you go. So they're going back to the African languages, which the lady told you in South Africa they're prohibited to do. Don't you dare speak no African up in here. You better speak Afrikaans and English. Girl, you baboon. You got the baboon? I don't have any baboon hair, but so what? Girl?
They're saying in a landmark move that clearly reflects Niger's growth desire to reclaim its culture and political narrative, the country has formally removed French as an official language, elevating Hausa, a widely spoken indigenous language, as a national status. And these sweeping decisions...
Now understand Hausa. That's what the northern Nigeria, like they're the same tribe, same people. So we know, even though Niger, they want to go back to Hausa, we know that the northern tribes of Nigeria are the Hausa Fulani. They're really the Hausa. And so literally they're the same people. Literally. Go ahead, Joe.
And we had this, let me share this video of these young two men who are talking about, of course, Ibrahim Traore and his amazing moves of what literally
I told you, in 10 years, Burkina Faso will be Dubai. You imagine, man, everything he does he's like doing stuff every week. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, literally. No bank, no loans, no nothing.
No loans, no goofy what. That's why they keep trying to kill him. You know, they tried to kill him this weekend. They had the woman there and another. They tried to kill him again this weekend. Every week they're trying to kill him because. It's crazy. It's crazy. For him just doing the right thing. See, this threatens Europeans because they've been parasites off of Africa. And if he completely removes the parasites, the other African countries, the leaders are going to fall. because you're not going to have a Dubai in Africa where everybody, ain't nobody going to be living in a cabana when you got a Dubai right down the road. Hey, wait, hey, how's he got a Dubai right down the road and I'm living in this cabana? What's going on here? Go ahead, Joe.
In the world right now is Ibrahim Traoré, very small country in West Africa. Why is he the most important black person in the world right now? You ever wonder why Africa as a continent has been so long? Well, this is not debatable. This is a historical fact. They colonize the country, right? As colonizing the country, they have rights to all of the natural resources. They pretty much have all of the power in the country. Then when they leave and they get their quote unquote independence, they make them sign treaties which actually still reverts all the natural resources back to their home country, mainly
back
France.
to the white people.
That's all it is extortion.
All of them.
For pennies. You should read the book Economic Hitman if you haven't read it. Confess to the Economic Hitman. This is why leadership is important and government is important. When you have a leader that steps up and says, no, this isn't right. We want change. We want self-determination. We want to control our natural resources, like Kwame Nkrumah, the founder of Ghana. The CIA comes and coordinates his exile and runs him out the country. He eventually dies. Or you have Patricia Lumumba in Congo, who was killed. Who do you think orchestrated his killing? This isn't, in my opinion, this is a historical fact. This is no emotion. Exactly. That's why I'm taking my time with this, right? So what they do is that they come and they give you an option. And they say, okay, you can sell out your country and give us the natural resources for cheap, and we'll make you very wealthy.
We'll make you wealthy, but you better give us our resource or you're going to get a bullet in the head. So with Traoré giving this thing, that's why they keep trying to give him a bullet in the head. Every time they turn around, it's just this weekend, they tried to give him another bullet in the head. Okay? Because Africa's wealthy. That's the dirty secret that the Africans don't know. He's smart enough. He knows we're rich. He said, how are we rich and we're poor? When he first took power. How are we the richest continent? This is a fact. It's not my imagine. Africa's the richest place on the planet. How are the Africans poor then? Then you go back and research, but the Africans were never poor until they got colonized. What? Yeah, that's why I was never taught none of your goofy history books, that you were actually wealthy and you were rich. You taught all kind of European lies in all your goofy books. That should have been changed when you first got independence. All the lies should have went out the window. Get rid of these books. These books got to go. Should have been taught the truth. That's why he changed the educational system, right? He said you can grow your hair. Don't all that European stuff he's breaking down. He told you no more goofy wigs. The wigs got to go. You got to become African again. And you got to love who you are again. You got to internally love to be African. That's what you're doing. You got to get back your confidence that's been shattered by these wicked people.
True.
And then that gives you the you're no longer being a coward and take back what's yours. When you take back what's yours, you take back your wealth, and you do it unapologetically. I'd be dang if you're going to come to my country, extract my resources, and leave my people in poverty. That's what's been doing. That's what the Paul Beers, the Rutos, the Hurus, the Musevenis, the Kagamis, that's what they all been doing. The Tinabus.
This is always Ruto right now, getting all the money so that he can allow the RSF to come and clean their gold here, go to the Middle East as he gets a few dollars out of
it.
On your family
in perpetuity. Back to that.
Now, if you refuse this, then we'll kill you. And some people have refused it and they got killed. And then the people that take their positions are corrupt leadership propped up by the West. And they don't care about their people. They don't care about their natural resources. They sell it. They let them come rob, and it's good for business because they can get it for dollars on the cheap. They can get copper or gold, oil, you name it. And this cycle has continued since they got their quote unquote independence. And it's been a system that has continuously kept Africa in poverty on purpose, done by the Western governments, Europe and America. Now you have a leader like Ibrahim Traoré, who takes power from a military coup from a corrupt leader that was already in power, kicks France out of the country. Then it becomes a domino effect. Then Mali follows suit. Then you have all of these other countries in West Africa that was colonies of France, kicking the French out, taking control of the natural resources, paying off their debt. Well, that's dangerous. If that's a model that can be followed and duplicated,
dangerous.
Now you no longer have this economic oppression that these countries are over. Now they can actually start to move forward. But we saw somebody else try to do this before, and he didn't last. So when you say things like a victim mindset or stop blaming people, it's really an ignorant thing to say, because you're not providing any historical context when you're saying you're a victim, stop blaming people. You're not. And it's the same thing that could be said in America. Okay, stop blaming. Well, okay, Black people were slaves in America and then built up wealth in a very short period of time. And has
all the wealth.
Free important Black person in the world right now.
Yeah, so that's the video of those two young men, of course, and so many, if you look online, so many people are excited, happy to see the transition Ibrahim Traore is doing, literally, generally the Alliance Sahel state. But we have on this other end, I love the way African Union always love to play like they're on the African side, but they are not, you know? So we are.
That's why even Traore said, break it up. It's fake. It's phony.
Yeah. We have this lady here. I don't know she's which position she stands. She spoke about where Africans need to be apologized to. We need to be given. Till when are we gonna keep on accepting the term sorry? Like sorry. It's the same thing.
They're not sorry because they're doing the same thing. So you get an apology doesn't mean anything because the behavior hasn't changed towards you.
That's that lady, Ama Ado. She also spoke the same. The one who was speaking about on that interview. She said, "You guys left us diseases. You're still stealing our resources and all that." And she said, "You can't keep on accepting good morning, thank you, sorry, good morning." No, this is the bullshit the African Union now is feeding us. So all the crimes, all the genocides, everything. We need to just say sorry and that's it. No one is going to be held accountable. The resources being stolen, the countries being destabilized. All you can do is just say sorry. What has been your work as the African Union? Which Africa do you represent? Let's start from there.
See, that's what they're trying to figure out. African Union represents white people. It doesn't represent Africa. That's why it doesn't work. That's why. Exactly.
So yes,
it helps us. We do not need any more evidence. What is required of us is to lead the way to peace, to prosperity, and to justice. And the reparations which we call for the international community to be able to recognize.
That's the president of Barbados. Okay, I know she.
First and foremost, that which we ask from each of our children, say sorry. Say sorry and mean it. And after you say sorry, recognize that the future of the world is not possible without the stability of Africa and its diaspora. For as long as hypocrisy and double standards remain, it will be impossible to secure stability and peace in any nation across the earth. The reparations that we call for, beyond sorry, must be for fair access and development and compensation, because we each started the journey of independence with a chronic deficit.
On the bottom.
A deficit of resources, a deficit of fairness, a deficit of opportunity. And it is up to us, many of us in the second and third generation of independence, to be able to frame out fairly in a mature conversation what those reparations must look like if we are to attain justice and to inspire the young people of this world that good must always prevail over evil.
You're only going to get justice until you get power, lady.
The reparations that we ask from the international community, because we ourselves must repair the damage that was foisted on us. The notion that transit visas, begging for them, must be the lot of our people in order to move across this world cannot be something that gives us satisfaction. To go east and to go west, we are first forced to go north. It is not right. And it is not beyond the heads of government and heads of state, the region of the Caribbean community, and of the continent of Africa, to determine that we must stop talking about, but simply do what is necessary to build the air bridges and sea bridges to guarantee that we control our destiny.
Right. I'm talking about it.
I
Be
ask
about it.
us to reflect on this because it is this simple act, apart from our music and our culture and our food, that will guarantee that it is not simply heads of government and heads of we.
Yeah, but what has she done for her people? Let's start from there. What have you done for your people? If you are a president, number one, what changes can we see? Personally, I always love using this until we see some assassination
I think she
attempt.
has started making changes, Joby. I think she has started. I think she got out of the. I think she took the Queen off the damn head of Barbados. Said we're not going to be part of this Commonwealth nonsense. But let's see. Put us up, Joby. Say when did the president of Barbados first take power? I don't know when she first got into power. Then let's before you throw in the Joby wants to throw every African leader under the bus. Let's see what she does first. before we throw her under the bus, Joby, can we at least see what she does before we throw her completely under the bus?
Let's see. On 20th October, that was 2021.
Okay.
October, she was elected by both houses without opposition, although no national vote amongst the people was ever held. Manson took office on 30th November 2021, the 55th anniversary of independence. So that was in 2021.
Okay, can we say anything she's done, Joby?
That was in 2021. What has she done for her people? Personally, I always love checking on that. I think these leaders say because you're working for an organization that doesn't even help the African people. They'll say anything I'll say anything for the clout. They'll say anything for the media. They'll say anything for the people for us to live with that hope of, this change, she's bringing change. Until I see assassination attempts like Burkina Faso, my brain. This is all just perpetual talk. I'm not buying none of that personally. I won't. Never. I'm too smart to.
That's smart. Well, that's smart.
Yeah, I won't listen to words. I want to see more action. But as we come literally towards the end of today's conversation, the main conversation is about South Sudan, which is projected to have an economical growth, the fastest economical growth. So the question is how.
But that doesn't. No, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean. That doesn't. We see past economical growth. That doesn't really mean anything in layman terms, Joe. But that just means that they might have sold a big thing of oil, and you would call that economic growth when it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no economic growth in South Sudan. It's one of the poorest countries in Africa. It's a basket case. It's a basket case. It's really it's only been in existence for 15 years now. It's a basket case. It's teetering on becoming what they call a failed state. So the economic growth that they're talking about is fraudulent. There is no economic growth there. So they might have sold some oil. They said, oh well, that's economic growth because they sold more oil this time than somebody else, but the oil's not controlled by them, so it's no real economic growth.
That is true.
That's why you got South Sudanese and Kenyan schools beating you up because there's no economic growth.
Exactly, man. Shout out to them, and I've never gotten.
You don't got a bunch of Kenyans moving to South Sudan for opportunity, Joe.
And those Sudanese women tortured me. I mean, they traumatized me in school. Like I've never forgotten their name. That's how serious it was. I've never forgotten their name. I think even if I am to meet them today, I remember them very, very well. It made my life I live in hell. Oh my goodness! But in 2025, several African nations are expecting remarkable economical growth, driven by various sectoral developments and resource exploitation.
I told you resource exploitation. Like I said, resource exploitation. So Sudan's going to be the oil, I'm sure, but they don't control the oil.
Mm-hmm. So South Sudan leads with an unanticipated GDP increase of 27%, primarily due to its oil production. However, challenges such as over-reliance on oil and ongoing conflicts and infrastructure deficits.
I told you it's going to be the oil, Joe. I told you.
pose the risk for sustainable growth. Then it follows by Libya with a projected growth rate of 13%, benefiting from a resurgence in oil production as well. Yet political instability remains a significant concern that could impact economical stability. We have Senegal, which comes third. They're saying the economy is set to expand by 9%, largely due to recent offshore energy discoveries that boosters its oil and gas sector. Sudan anticipates an 8% growth driven by its gold mining and agricultural industry. We have Uganda. I mean, such a shame. Come on, Uganda, really? Come on, Uganda. Uganda economy is projected to grow by 7%, supported by investments in energy sector. Niger expects a 7% increase attributed by developments in mining and energy. Of course, Niger is possible. When you talk about the Alliance Sahel state, I think these are the countries who should talk about their economical growth being the fastest because they're fully in control of their country right now in resources. So come on, Uganda, really? Come on. The other one is Zambia. We have Benin. We have Ethiopia, we have Rwanda, and each anticipates growth rates between 6% and 6.6% and 6.6%, and underpinned by economical diversification and infrastructure development. While these projections indicate a positive trajectory for Africa's economical landscape, it is important to recognize the underlying challenges: political instability,
The underlying challenge is that they got political instability because of the wars by the white man, and the white man steals all those resources. So
structural deficit and over-independence on specific sectors like oil and gas
yep,
could hinder
they're not diversified.
and addressing these issues is crucial for maintaining and enhancing economic progress across the continent. Of course, I mean, there's so much war going on for even talking about South Sudan being the fastest growing economical country. Hell no, I don't know by none of that.
Oh,
But yes,
it's a scam. It's a scam, Joe. But they send that they extracted some more oil. That doesn't mean it has any economic growth. Hey, Big Cheese, what did Camelo Anthony do? What happened? What happened to Camelo Anthony? What's the case? Look it
yeah.
up, Joe. We can say, what's the case
Oh,
with Camelo Anthony? What did he do?
Keith, we have no time. We have no time. Lights, listen, I started my show. I started my show literally earlier. The lights went out. The lights have gone out. So I have no time. I have literally time is up.
You can't tell me. Hey, okay, let me ask Big Cheese. What happened with Camelo Anthony? God damn. What happened?
Discuss it on the Africa Today show. What happened? Tell us.
Who
What happened?
donated? I ain't seen no donations. Who donated some money? Oh, you gonna donate to Camelo Anthony? You didn't donate shit to me. I don't see no money.
Shout out to everyone on the shout out to Byron, shout out to Jiba Jaba. I'm feeling better today than yesterday.
No, I hear about nothing, Byron. What happened? I don't. Joey gonna cut it off. I don't know. Is that the basket? Is somebody else named Camelo Anthony? The Frisco TV incident. What is that? What is the Frisco? I don't even know. What the hell is the Frisco TV incident? If it ain't on TikTok, I ain't seen the shit.
Yeah. So guys, you better put the comments very quick because I'm wrapping it up.
We're doing tonight. Where's Joey doing tonight? Joey all crazy. If it ain't on TikTok, I don't know what the fuck it is. What's the Frisco TV incident? And Joey ain't gonna look it up, so I'll do it tonight. Yeah, we're discussing on tonight. I don't know what's about. I gotta get Joe to look it up tonight. I don't know who the Frisco TV incident and Big Cheese is saying it's not Camelo Anthony, this basketball player. There's another Camelo Anthony? Who's this Negro? I know Frisco, Texas. I mean, what happened in Frisco, Texas, Jibber Jabber? I'm in Texas. I don't know what happened in Frisco, Texas. Daniel Penny effect. What now? This thing is in the webcam. See, can't read. It's called Karma. Oh, did somebody kill somebody white? Is that the dude is that the dude that's the stand and frisk thing? That the black guy did he kill somebody white or something? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Let me just be honest. I don't want to sound stupid because I don't know. I have Joey looking up tonight, guys. I don't know. We're talking about tonight. Tonight.
Yeah. You guys bring it up tonight, then we'll do the research on that and see what's happening.
Yeah, that's a stand your ground thing. I thought so. Okay, I didn't get the story. I seen you guys talking about it in the WhatsApp group. I seen you guys talking about it. I didn't get a chance to look at it. Black boy defends himself and deletes a honky. He deleted the honky. Yeah, he got found innocent, I think, too. So that's rare. Yeah, so I got it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bullseye. Okay, yeah, check it out. Yeah, he was right. Okay, we do that tonight on tonight's show. I know you guys put it in the chat room, the WhatsApp chat room. So we'll talk about that tonight and laugh. So we'll laugh tonight.
Say the bullseye, kid. Bullseye. Try to
Why did he stab him? I don't even know the story, Michelle. He stabbed somebody? I don't know the story, Michelle. I'm late. I'm late. I don't know nothing.
I don't know what I'm talking about. So bring the story tonight or put it on the chat.
I'm gonna have you look it up, Joby, about the Camilo and the guy who shot some white people in Texas, in Frisco, Texas. Look it up. Today we did a show on it. I don't know. Obviously, he shot somebody and he was found innocent. He shot that ass. And let me say this real quick before we leave. Sparks, brother, you called me on my personal line, man. You messed me up last night. You called me all personal. I'm about to go to sleep. I wanted to ask him about Marion Gaines, because you thought Marion Gaines was talking about those folks, about the hat. I told you that's a fake. Marion Gaines is fake. And now he said black people don't need reparations. Remember, Marion Gaines is from South Sudan. He's a coon. He's a coon African. And just because you hear him talking about the hats and they allow him to say something about the cats with the hats, his manager is a cat with the hats. So I told you go look him up. His name is Max Prime. He changed his name on Twitter, Max Prime. That's his manager. He's sponsored by. They allow him to say something, so you'll believe that he's going against the hats. He's talking about he's Zionist and blah blah. Marion Gaines is a phony. You guys got to start being able to understand what you're looking at intellectually. When you hear somebody saying some good things, don't take that they're actually. You see what he started with that fresh and fit nonsense, talking bad about black women because he always wanted white coochie. And now because he's now talking about the hats, you guys get confused as if now, look at Marion Gaines. He's talking about the hat. He's saying what's real, who really runs the world. He's been allowed to say that. He's been allowed to say that. Understand that? To get you to now get all gooey-eyed over that. Then he tells you, well, I don't believe black people deserve reparations. It ain't got shit to do with his ass. He's South Sudanese. He wasn't a black American. He wasn't enslaved here. He should shut his mouth. But that's the whole scam. To give him credibility in America and pretend to be a black American. And then you find out this Negro Sudanese. And he should shut his mouth when he's talking about black American issues. Shut your filthy mouth. That's what you do. You don't open your mouth when it concerns us, but they gave him credibility so you guys would believe it. Because he's now talking about the J's, right? He's up there every time he's around, he's calling them FAGGOTs. He's doing all kind of going in on them. You guys think it's real. Oh, look at Marion Gaines talking about the hats. He's doing it. He's telling the truth. When you don't even know he's sponsored by these people. He's Kabuki Theater. He's Kabuki Theater.
We'll finish tonight. Much love, family. Thank you so much for tuning in. Without wasting much more of the time, Tafadhalini, let me wind up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bring the conversation up. We shall be continuing with that.
Exactly right, Big Cheese. We'll do it tonight. I'm gonna talk about mirroring games. I want the video to be like this, Joby. This is the title right here. Write it down real quick. Title. This the title tonight. Say mirroring gains.
A minute.
Say mirroring gains is a phony. Mirroring gains is a phony, and Camilo Anthony found innocent.
Send it to me kindly, kid. Just type it.
I'm called. Damn you, Joby.
Do that for me kindly. But much love, family. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. I'm sorry I couldn't go through you guys' comments, but I saw all of them. Asante sana for keeping the conversation active. See you guys later on the reaction time. No, the Tubonge. Me, Iwaton, and Shmani. But she's coming back. Iwaton is coming back in a few, so catch up with her and see the conversation she has.
Yeah, I go.